मुनीर अकरम साहब, एजाज चौधरी साहब, हमारे साथ डाना डब्ल्यू वाइट मौजूद हैं जो कि साबिक स्पोक्सपर्सन हैं पेंटागन की. Thank you very much, Dana, for joining me in the program. It's a pleasure having you in the show. Dana, we'll talk a little bit about Afghanistan and Pakistan. Pakistan has a very calibrated and strategic response to the terrorism that was sent from Afghanistan's side. How do you see that panning out with regards to the regional situation that is happening?
Well, I think right now you see it mainly being seen as a regional conflict, but we know that with Afghanistan, that it always has the potential of exporting its violence. And we're seeing that obviously with the cross-border violence. What needs to be done, honestly, is we need to change the framework in which we deal with Afghanistan. And I think that's going to take a regional, that's going to probably be done best regionally, because the U.S., for the most part, sees this conflict, especially with everything else that's going on right now, as a regional conflict.
Right. But how do we change the strategy? Because Pakistan's strategy is that we're going to hit the terror outfits and the terror headquarters. And we don't have any concern or we don't have anything against the Afghan people. We actually we have a soft corner for them since they're our brothers. But these terrorist exporting mechanisms and this regime in itself is a threat not just to Pakistan. Does the world and does the U.S. see it as a threat to them as well?
So I do not think that, unfortunately, I don't think the world sees it as a threat more widely, and I think that's the fault of the world, because we obviously know what happened on 9/11 and where that all originated. So what I think needs to happen is you have to change the incentives for the Taliban, or you have to change the benchmarks, because right now the Doha framework really doesn't have an enforcement tool. So what could be done is, one, the U.S. could help Pakistan with ISR and helping with like securing its border and with intel. But we also have to recognize and deal with the fact that there's also a certain amount of distrust between our two intelligence agencies. And so we have to come up with ways, whether that's travel bans or cracking down on the financiers of the violence, of the TTP. And that's something that definitely I think Pakistan could get global support for.
So the global support with regards to UN recognizing that Afghanistan is home to terror outfits, including TTP, including BLA, including Daesh, all those terror outfits are already there. So why is it that the globe doesn't view what the UN already knows?
Well, number one, the world, and I'll speak for America, we're pretty busy at the moment. And number two, unfortunately, people have a very short memory. And I will say that's a great thing about America in some ways, but sometimes can be an unfortunate thing. Because when we let this kind of, whether it's ISIS-K, Al-Qaeda, TPP, all of it, when we let these things grow, we know from experience that they don't stay regional. They don't stay just cross-border. And as you said, multiple multilateral organizations, the UN, have recognized that it is permissive, quote unquote, permissive environment for terrorists. So I think it's in Pakistan's interest to make this a global issue, to remind the world of what the threats can be, that this is not just a threat to Pakistan, this is a threat to the world.
Absolutely. If Kabul does not dismantle militant outfits, if Kabul does not dismantle its militant mechanism, how should they be dealt with?
Well, I think they should be dealt with as the U.S. often deals with terrorists that threaten the U.S., and I would say also sovereign nations. I think you strike. I think you have to have kinetic strikes against these targets. These are clearly terrorist organizations, and it's really upon the world to address it. But I think the first responsibility is probably for Pakistan to get neighbors and friends, whether in Central Asia, in the Gulf states, to help and to make this much more of a bigger deal. Because at the moment, the U.S. is quite busy.
Right.
And you do have an administration that is very singularly focused on what are America's interests.
Right.
And
Got your
this
point,
is in
Anna.
America's
Thank you very
interest.
much for joining me in the program, for having you in the show. लेकिन मसला ये है कि हमारे regional और सारे